Blessings, beloveds. Welcome back. Anastasia, Cosmic Astrologer with you guys, wanting to share some insights into medical astrology and more specifically relating to the asteroid goddess Hygeia and her transiting movements at the moment. I was meaning to add her into my June update. However, I sort of ran out of time and I actually forgot. So, yeah, I had a look at her movements, where she's at, and I don't really know why. There's no logical reason, but I felt intuitively a calling to make this video, and quite often when it comes to things that I create and share, quite apart from planning that goes on around it, a lot of it is very spontaneous as well, from the point of view of what's rising in me very strongly at any given moment. And I get these intuitive sort of messages, if you like, that lead me to discovering something or exploring something and then feeling the urge to share it. So this is why I'm doing this one today. And as you probably, most of you would be aware by now, I work a lot with the asteroid goddesses, and I absolutely love the mythology around the asteroid goddesses. And I think that they are incredibly powerful in terms of their archetypal meaning and expression in the chart, whether it's natally or whether it's looking at forecast, through transits, progressions, etc. So a little bit about the asteroid goddess Hygeia. So she's numbered number 10, 10. Hygeia is spelled Higiea. Now, because I am Greek, naturally I can understand certain words that exist in the English language that have, a Latin or Greek root connection meaning to the word. Now, Hygeia literally in Greek means health. That's actually how we say the word health in Greek, but it is pronounced Υγεία as opposed to Hygeia. The Greek language has a pronunciation that's involved with using the throat. There's a tone that you use that connects to how you move your tongue and your throat in a certain way. It's sort of hard to explain, but if you're Greek, you'll know, and if you're Arabic, you'll know as well, because it's very similar in both those languages. So Υγεία, as you can see, Υγεία, I'm using the back of my throat to actually pronounce the G, because the G is not pronounced as we pronounce G in English. Anyway, just a bit of information that, might be trivial but might be meaningful. It is important from the point of view of that the goddess Hygeia literally means health in Greek, and she's a Greek goddess who represented all matters to do with good health, it is said. She was the daughter of, now let's see if I can pronounce this one in English. In English, well, I'll try. Asclepios. It's probably not pronounced like that in English. Anyway, the spelling of that is Asklepios. So she was the daughter of this particular figure, and her story goes that she basically represented health and worked with the healing modalities. So that's what she represents. Just a little bit more though. I'd just like to read from a couple of different websites where I just retrieved some information that's useful. So she represents our attitude and belief concerning health, fitness, and awareness. She also connects to sanitation and the valuable role in hygiene and diet and the overall maintenance of health that we maintain. She often shows up by transit or appears on a major angle. Now, the angles are always important in the chart. Natally, and when you are working with transits and progressions as well, when you have a planet or an asteroid going over one of the four angles, big things are going to take place. Whether they're experienced in a positive way or a challenging way is going to come down to a number of different factors. But when something crosses an angle, the ascendant, descendant, MC, IC, then things happen, things are activated. She is very much felt among dietitians, physical fitness educators and teachers, dental people, mental health facilitators who embrace the mind-body connection, holistic practitioners, environmentalists, and people of that kind of nature. Some other key sort of words for her: health, hygiene, which is where the word hygiene comes from her name, literally. Tradition and natural medicine, doctors and healers, disease, illness, toxins, fear of poison, fear of doctors, fear of medical results, hypochondria, hesitation to get checkups, operations, misdiagnosis, drug abuse, diet, worrying about health, and matters of that nature all pertain to this particular asteroid goddess. Now, I'm speaking about her today, as I said, because I felt a calling to do so. So this would be very relevant for those of you that are working with a modality that pertains to health and well-being, whether that's physical or whether that's, spiritual, emotional, psychological, etc., mental health practitioners, alternative healers, and so forth. This asteroid goddess speaks very, very strongly to people who work in these fields, and I'm sure there are a number of you out there that do, including my own self. I'm a mental health clinician as well, so she's very relevant for me, even just for that reason. The things to kind of look for before I go into where she's at the moment and what she's doing. First of all, she has an orbit of just over 5 years. That's how long it takes her to travel through the entire zodiac. So she's, relatively slow. She doesn't fly past. She spends a substantial amount of time in each zodiacal sign, and a lot of that obviously has got to do with her retrograde session, retrograde direct periods as well. But I guess, in terms of medical astrology, there's a number of different things that we can examine, and maybe I'll do a separate video on that alone. But just for the moment, for today, the things that I would like you guys to maybe consider is, first of all, your sixth house. The sixth house in the birth chart correlates to health and illness, so not just health. So the way to understand health in your life and what rules health in your life, you need to look at the sixth house of your birth chart. You need to look at the sign on the cusp of the sixth house. You need to locate its ruler. These steps are applicable to any single house of the birth chart. They are the same principles. They don't alter. So sign on the sixth house cusp. What is the ruler to your sixth house cusp? Where is it located? It could be located in the sixth house, or it could be located anywhere else in your birth chart. What is the ruler? Is it a benefic or a malefic? Meaning, is it Venus, Jupiter, benefic, malefics, Saturn, Mars, in terms of traditional astrology anyway. What aspect or what sign is the ruler in if it's not in the sixth house and it's located somewhere else? Well, what is the ruler? What house is it in? What sign is it in? Is that planet debilitated or dignified? Does it have good aspects? Does it form an aspect to your sixth house? If it forms an aspect, is it a trine, a sextile, a square, an opposition? What is it, a hard aspect or a soft aspect? Does it have aspects to any other planets in the chart? So you can see there are a lot of steps to observe in order to be able to create meaning and understanding of how your sixth house actually functions. And not only from a day-to-day basis in terms of your own health and routine and rituals, because the sixth house is the Virgo house, obviously, right? And it is one of the most complex houses. Scorpio and Virgo are the two most complex signs of the zodiac. I've said that before and I'll say it again. So the houses, the Virgo house and the Scorpio house, same thing, that they are very, very complex houses. And things that go on in there have so many roots to so many different things, so many layers, so many unconscious elements, a lot of internalized experiences as well. Because the sixth house it's a lot of different things, but it's the work that we do on ourselves so that we can become better human beings, so that we can become more holistic, so that we can have well-being in our life, so that we can give to others, give service, give whatever we develop and integrate and evolve. It is part of our, I don't want to use the word duty, but another way of understanding the sixth house is through the teachings of karma yoga. Karma yoga is very much a sixth house thing. It's the selfless work that we do for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of others. It's not ego based. The sixth house, there's no ego in the sixth house. Forget about it. The ego was very, very strong in the house just before, the fifth house. But when we get to the sixth house, we've got to drop all that ego stuff and we've got to drop that grand sort of perspective of our big personality. And we've got to start to eliminate things, right? And start checking on where it is we can actually improve within ourselves. So these are all themes of the sixth house. So getting back to the goddess Hygeia, she's in an earth sign at the moment. She's in Taurus, and she entered Taurus around about the 15th of April 2019, and she will be in Taurus until February 2020. So it's quite a long time. Well, it's not super long, but it's not super short. So it's a substantial amount of time with her transit in the sign of Taurus for us to literally work with some committed level relating to our health. Now, if you have Taurus on your sixth house cusp, well, then she's probably already entered your sixth house, or she may be entering it soon. I'll pull up a chart in a minute just so you can see where she's at exactly. Now, if you have Cancer on the sixth house cusp, then she'll be forming a sextile to your sixth house. If you have Leo there, she'll be forming a square. Sextiles, by the way, bring about opportunity. Things move and flow quite nicely, and opportunities usually present as well, or some connection may be made that's really beneficial. As I said, if you have Leo, it's going to be square. If you have Virgo, naturally, Taurus to Virgo is earth to earth, so it's trine. That's how you recognize a trine, by the elements. Fire to fire is trine, etc., etc. If you have Libra there, it's a quincunx situation. The aspect is quincunx, so there's some pretty important adjustments that would need to take place with the area of health for you. Scorpio, then she would be opposite your sixth house. Sagittarius, she would be quincunx. If you have Capricorn there, she'll be trine. There's another earth sign, so it's a very supportive aspect. If you have Aquarius there, she'll be squaring that house cusp. And if you have Pisces there, she'll be forming a sextile. So I've run through all the different signs for you. I skipped Gemini because, Aries and Gemini, because it's a semi-sextile, and there is importance in that, but I just don't want to focus on those minor aspects for the purposes of this video. Now, Earth, she's in Taurus. Earth, what's Earth about? It's about the physical world, which means it's about our physical body, right? So you've got the sixth house, which is about mind-body balance or imbalances that need to be addressed. You've got Hygeia, who's in the sign of Taurus, who's bringing our attention literally to the matter of things and to our physical stamina, our physical body, our whole biological system, our whole biological workings. Taurus connects very much to all the sensations, as I said in my previous video, our sensory layers and our sensory perception, taste, hearing, etc., is all connected to Taurus. So Hygeia, being in the sign of Taurus, is really bringing our attention very closely to our physical body. And you can bring matters in of self-worth and value and things like that. They are very important, even though they are more relative to emotional and psychological states. Our emotional and psychological states do, however, have an impact on how our body feels. There's a very strong correlation. We know that through the world of psychology. We even know through the fields of medicine, where there's a lot of placebo tests done, and people are given a placebo remedy of some sort, and they don't know it, of course, and then their answer could be that, yep, I feel fine now as a result of having that particular medication, but there was nothing in that medication. So there's all these sorts of tests that are done, right? So Hygeia in Taurus, she's halfway through Taurus at the moment, but because of her retrograde movement and direct movement, this is why she's going to be in the sign of Taurus until Feb 2020, did I say? Yes, 2020. So I guess if you are some kind of healing practitioner, even whether it's conventional or whether it's alternative or whether it's a bit of both, or if you are experiencing health matters at the moment, it is worth actually having a look to see where she is transiting your chart. If you want to access her energy more from the point of professional work, then you can really hone into where she's transiting in your chart, because you can further develop a lot of skills around that area that pertains to that area of your chart through her wisdom, through her healing power, and through what she brings up in our consciousness on an archetypal level. Now, some of the keywords that I pointed to before, some of them are a bit, they weren't necessarily pleasant, because, for instance, there was words around, let me just see, hypochondria, for instance. There was those sorts of words. There they are. Hesitation to get checkups, misdiagnosis. So it's, although she traditionally reflects health, as in good health, I guess if you have a troubled sixth house, and if you have difficult aspects to your sixth house, and if there are some difficult aspects to her movement at the moment in your chart, or if she's making a square aspect to your sixth house, this might be able to point to what's going on for you, and what are the challenges, and what are the issues around that. Taurus, again, is a sign of wanting to be really comfortable. Taurus doesn't take the initiative to step into things. It's very reluctant, and it will just avoid, because it doesn't want to disrupt the comfort, the apparent comfort that it's in. So Taurus is not really a sign of change necessarily, certainly at the mundane personality level, but Taurus has a very high evolved spiritual state to it as well. But that's another discussion entirely. So let me just bring up the chart just for today, actually. And yeah, we'll just go there. So it depends on what computer program you have, whether you have Solarfire or whether you use Astro.com. I know a lot of people use that service because it's free, and I can completely understand. If you are serious about working with astrology and developing your understanding, it's definitely worth investing in astrology software that you can access anytime, and you can access many different levels, whereas I think there might be some restrictions with astro.com. I'm not entirely sure, so that could be an incorrect statement. But I've got my own program. I've had it for over 20 years, so I've been upgraded, etc., etc. But I couldn't live without this program, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, and what I was really trying to say there as well is that certain programs will have their default settings, right? Pretty much like any program. So if you want to take things out or add things or adjust things, etc., that's the power of having your own program. You can do that. So here is Hygeia here, this very weird little black symbol. Almost looks like a little, what does it look like? Like a tribal kind of symbol. So she's at 16 degrees and 45 minutes of Taurus. And as I said, she entered Taurus on the 15th of April, and it's going to take her until 2020 of February to actually get out of the sign of Taurus. So she's in there for a long period of time. So just check out if she's forming any significant aspects to your own sixth house cusp. This is the sixth house cusp. This line that you see right here, that is known as the sixth house cusp, okay, where you can see Neptune just there, and you can see the number 17 and the symbol Pisces. That's where the sixth house actually begins in this particular chart. So when you're looking at your own sixth house, this is where you need to go to. So have a look if Hygeia is forming any aspects to the sixth house. If she's not, that's fine. Have a look at, if she's forming any trines to any planets in your chart. So if you've got planets in earth signs, she'll be forming trines, whether it's now or whether it's later on in the year or next year. And naturally, if you have the fixed signs emphasized in your chart, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus, she'll be forming oppositions and squares and conjunctions to the fixed planets. So if you're a Scorpio, you're a Leo, you're a Taurus, you're an Aquarius, or you have planets in those signs, she'll be making significant aspects, which are, squares are very tension-provoking, very dynamic, very, very tension-provoking. And whilst they may be really uncomfortable, they actually they force you to move and take action. So if there's a square happening there, then there's something that will really be trying to get your attention. You could be in the process of having some health matters checked out, or hesitation towards that. Or you could have, a surgery or some kind of procedure booked in, or getting ready to book that in. It's worth checking out what's happening to your sixth house, because it can actually indicate, the timing of things in terms of, what is a more opportune, fortuitous, supportive time to have a certain, a serious procedure, to have a certain procedure done. And what would be a time to maybe avoid something like that? It can be very tricky. It's not so easy to analyze that, but certainly you can always start by just analyzing your sixth house and what transits are taking place towards your sixth house. Also, what transits are taking place to the ruler of your sixth house, because that's going to bring up what's going on in the area of sixth house for you. And the sixth house covers a lot of components of one's life. It's your overall health and well-being. It's your work. It's the service that you give to others. It's your self-improvement, the skills you develop, it's all the learning that you do. It's the peeling back of all the layers of the onion to have a look at what's going on inside you, on a number of different levels. And as I said, it's the house of karma yoga, which is the devotional, selfless work that we do on ourselves, but for the purposes of giving to others as well. So if Hygeia is making, squares, conjunctions, or oppositions, there's going to be, well, with the opposition, depending on what she's opposing, etc., there's always a potential for awareness, right, and crystallization and illumination. So it might be a matter that comes up that you're able to see very, very clearly finally, and you get some real understanding about it. If it's a square, as I said, it's very tension-provoking. It requires you to take action. If it's a conjunction, well, then it's a beginning. Some new beginning is going to take place relating to health matters, whether that's correcting or addressing health issues that you may have, or whether that's actually working further and developing things with your own health, or whether it's actually developing your own skills on a professional level relating to the world of health and healing, as I said, conventional or alternate. But she's in Taurus, so it does connect very much to the physical body, which the physical body needs to be healthy, right? So she is really drawing our attention to matters of health. Earth is all about the earth, right? And our physical body it's earth. It's physical, like the physical world reality that we live in. So when earth is emphasized, it matters of health, physical body, stamina, working on things, in practical ways. Earth is always about a practical approach to things. So the interesting thing, though, I think, now that I think about it, is that, Taurus is opposite Scorpio, obviously. So what would be the shadow, to Hygeia being in Taurus? The shadow being the Scorpio, it could be health matters relating to sexual things. I don't really want to get too specific on that, but it could highlight some things around that area as well. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. Okay, I just wanted to make a relatively quick one today. I think I've achieved that. Just one thing that I would like to say that I feel is quite important. So let me just I'm just going to animate the chart as I have done previously with other videos. So what I want to do is I want to step forward. I want to progress the chart forward to see when she's actually going to form a trine to Saturn and Pluto, and particularly Pluto. So let's just, I'm just stepping, hours, I meant to do days. I'm just progressing the chart forward day at a time, and that way we can monitor her movements. So there she is there now at 16. So I just want to keep going until I see her. There we go. 19 degrees of Taurus means she's forming a trine to Saturn. Now, that's a really good aspect from the point of view of Saturn rules conventional things. So it would be conventional medicine, conventional healing modalities, things of that nature. There's something very supportive that would be going on at around about the 13th of June, whether that's you having some kind of procedure yourself or checking things out yourself. The Saturn is supporting Hygeia on that particular day very, very strongly. So it might just be that you're able to really structure and plan what you need to around the issue at hand for you, whatever that is. That might even be literally, creating or providing some kind of information. Maybe you're some kind of practitioner and you're required to give a talk or present something. That can be a very good time for that sort of thing, especially pertaining to conventional modalities and healing and health. Now, when she forms a trine to Pluto, which is just a few days later, its exact well, we could say it sort of starts around about here, probably even starts a day before this. As I said in the previous video, there's the aspects that are being formed when an aspect is approaching. There's a lot of energy building up during that time, so things get stimulated, things get kicked off, and especially with the outer planets. It's I've seen some very powerful things, very, very powerful things happen, especially with Pluto. So she's forming a trine to Pluto. Now, that, I think, is an incredibly powerful transit for very, very powerful transformation to take place that connects to health in some kind of way. If that's something that's going on for you at the moment, there can be something very powerful where you feel it'll be a transformative experience, and you will feel very supported through it. It won't be like a crisis, cataclysmic event. It'll be the ability to transform through something relating to health, Taurus type stuff. That's very important for you. That's a very, very good day for that kind of thing. And look, naturally, she's going to, make other aspects, but I don't really want to go into that. That's going to make this video an hour or two long. Okay, so if you don't know much about her myth, there's plenty of stuff out there online. You can look her up, but basically, she connects to health. As I said, she was a daughter of a healer and a doctor and things of that nature. And when she's, triggered in our chart, she can really bring to our attention matters to do with health. It could be matters that need to be addressed, or it could be serious health issues sometimes as well. That would be more because your sixth house is struggling in some kind of way, whether that's through your natal placements of what's happening with your sixth house, or you might just be having some difficult transits and progressions to your sixth house, which is all going to talk and speak to your health. What are you eating? What are you drinking? How much sleep are you getting? Are you practicing any meditation, any mindfulness? Are you taking time out? Are you burning the candle at both ends? What are you actually doing to have some realistic balance and harmony in the world of well-being, which is emotional, psychological, spiritual, and physical. Those components of our existence and our experiences, they don't just correct themselves if things are out of balance. We need to step up, step in, and we need to take action. And our body always lets us know anyway. Our body has a way to communicate to us. Whether we listen to it or not is an entirely different thing. But I think people who are very interested in health, will find this video very, very helpful. People who are not, probably tuned out 20 minutes ago, which is all good. Whatever is suitable or relevant to you, then that's what you're going to tune into, and that's completely fair enough and completely understandable. All right, I'll see you guys really soon with some more astro. Full moon in Sag coming up. I'll do something on that and whatever else comes into my consciousness. Much love and blessings. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time to listen to me. I hope that you are learning with my offerings. I know a lot of you are. A lot of you have given me wonderful feedback, and I really, really respect that and really, really appreciate it very, very much. So thanks again, guys. Much love, and see you soon.